What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today. It is the 30th day of November. Here we are sitting at about $3,034 with 7 hours and 47 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are consolidating after a little bounce, a little recovery here. We're consolidating. Perhaps we're forming some type of a bull flag on the 4 hour or something like that, and then we do push higher. Perhaps we do retrace. We form a higher low or maybe even a lower low, time will tell. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom back out to the daily, okay? 1 hour time frame here. Moving up, not a lot of volume. We are on Coinbase, though. Let's look at the Binance chart. Okay. Moving up with a little bit more volume. Nice. Not bad. Looking at this here, from a relative high to a relative low, we have hit the golden ratio. It's very common to go from your golden ratio to your 0.5 to 382 area for support, and then you continue to rally from there. So where we are right now is a perfect area to find support. We can go lower, find support at prior resistance and at the prior 382 and at prior support, and still move higher. Ideally, what we would see from here is either a small move down and then up, or we just move up and something that gets us back above the golden ratio. If we do get back above the golden ratio, or maybe when we get back above the golden ratio here, we should see a move that takes us inevitably to prices that are at about $3,100 to maybe even $3,300, something like that. Looking at the 1 hour indicators, the RSI looks good. It actually does look good overall in the 1 hour time frame here. Got a lot of overbought readings, not really any oversold readings at all, living predominantly above the 50 level, not below it, so nice to see. I would think here, just where we are relatively speaking, maybe we go down a little bit, but we probably have higher readings to go in the overbought zone. I would bet the next drive gives us a higher reading than this. Now, does that drive start here? Do we go lower first and then it starts? Either way, I don't really care. The amount of downside that we have potentially would be, somewhere probably around like $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. Psychological support there. Let me just look at this high to low here. That is, yeah, basically literally right there at $3,000. So I doubt we break below 3K at this point. Stochastics look bullish, and the MACD also looks bullish. We're bouncing off the, or breaking above the zero. Also good things there. The MACD might be less significant, though, because we have been moving sideways. It's nice, but again, maybe not anything to get too caught up in. We crossed below the zero here, and that's bearish. We did go lower, but not too much lower, right? Crossed above it here, it's bullish. It might not be that bullish. We'll see. Time will tell. It's just the 1 hour time frame, but I do like the RSI and I do like the stochastics. The MACD is also nice, to be fair, but it might be a little less significant. 4 hour time frame here. The RSI looks perfect. It looks great. Lower lows here, higher lows here. Hidden bullish divergence. It really does look like we're consolidating right here. I don't know if I would consider this a bull flag or not. Some type of consolidation phase for sure, but I think it's just a point at which we're taking a pause and an overall move that takes us higher. I do think that that's all it is, personally. I like what we're doing with the 4 hour RSI. I like it if this next attempt got us overbought instead of rejecting the overbought zone. Stochastics make me think that we move higher, and the MACD is also bullish overall, so good things there. All good things on the 4 hour time frame. We look at the daily time frame here, and this is where things might get a little bit interesting. Let's just see. From the... I wonder if you guys can hear that out there. From the initial pivot from this low to this high, we've gone all the way down to our 2618. You found support right at your 1414. Came up, found resistance at your golden ratio. Came down to your 1886. Resistance to the 1272, all the way down to the 2618. It's a bit of an unorthodox approach to the downside, but still respecting these levels is nice. We are finding resistance here at the 1886-200, so the goal here is that if we go lower, oh man, to be completely fair with this, it's saying that if we go below 3K, we don't want to go below 2882. Because what we want to see is productiveness, right? And productiveness is, instead of finding lower lows and lower highs, would be now find a higher low and a higher high, right? Find support at these various fib levels. They don't have to be the exact same fib levels, but I suppose we do have a little leeway if we do go below 3K, which I don't expect, but if we do go below 3K, maybe 2880, 2882 holds us. if we push higher from here, and I think we will, 3,300 is really looking like an appropriate area, and that was one of the targets that we had before. Coming in line with these daily closing prices, coming in line with this low point here, I think 33, probably just above 3,300 makes sense to me. And then not to mention, this is, I think, a coincidence, but maybe it's serendipity, I don't know. The fact that you found support at the 2618 golden ratio here, and then we look at the 1 hour time frame. We take this high to low here. That $3,300 target comes in line very well with this 2618. So maybe, again, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's serendipity. I don't know. But 2618 support, maybe you come up and you find resistance at the 2618, which is also coincidentally your 1618, which is also coincidentally this area where we found a bunch of closing lows and some support here, right? And a little bit of resistance there. It kind of makes sense. 3,300 might be the next target area to consider. I'm kind of curious. I want to put on another fib and just see if we get similar results with this area. I want to look at the weekly time frame here. Let's go from a low to a high. Nothing at 3,300 there. I mean, 3,600 is the next one. And sure, we'll get to 36. We'll get above that and all that stuff. I think from here, looking at what we've done so far, it makes a lot of sense to me that we would push on to 3,300, maybe somewhere around there, just above 3,300. Maybe find some turbulence, come down, find a higher low, and then we can be productive. A lot of people, I think, are in the mindset right now for Ethereum and for Bitcoin that we're either about to go lower or we're about to go higher, and there's no in-between, right? I think that the in-between is exactly what we're going to do. We'll move up a little bit more, disproving the bears, and then we'll consolidate a little bit more, giving the bears hope, disproving the bulls that we are rallying right now, making people question things. It'll be a higher low, maybe it'll be a lower low, whatever it is that we get, but I would assume more or less we're going to consolidate, and we probably do push higher going into December. But for now, 3,040, I think we could pull back at the lowest to $3,000. I wouldn't like to see us get below 3,000, but even if we do, 2,880 likely holds us as support. But likely from here, we push higher up to $3,300, probably just above $3,300, and then find turbulence there. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the very first few days of December that we got up to this level, and then we consolidate starting off the month to a red note, really. And then maybe halfway through the month we start to recover, finishing the month on a positive note. I don't expect new all-time highs by the end of December, but perhaps we could see new all-time highs as early as January, if not sometime in February. Anyways, that's all I got. I appreciate you all for being here. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but from a low point here to a high point here, we do have a nice bounce off the 0.5, and it is important to mention that sometimes we do get very robust reactions off this 0.5. So I wouldn't expect that it takes us all the way up to new all-time highs, but we really could, by the end of this year, be back above 4K, maybe even around 4,500. Maybe we're around our all-time highs. These 0.5 areas do typically give us very robust bounces, so it'll be interesting to see what happens over the coming weeks. We're definitely net positive, net bullish on Ethereum, and expecting that this is the low. Seeing a lot of posts about people talking about Bitcoin going to 60K or lower, 50K or lower. So-called experts calling for that. I'm wondering what that would imply for Bitcoin or for Ethereum if we were to drop that low. If Bitcoin were to drop that low, Ethereum, I mean, the next target area would be the golden ratio. And again, I'm not talking about this because I think it's going to happen. I personally think this is the low, or if it's not the low, we're going to get a slightly lower low, nothing too significant. But if I'm wrong and we do go lower, likely $2,250 to $2,000 would hold as support. If Bitcoin were to crash, if the rest of the market were to continue to crash, the golden ratio would likely hold us as support, and that still is a higher low overall. But that's like the worst case scenario, and I don't see that happening. I'm putting my foot down, putting my pride on the line, calling for this to be the low. We'll see if it's true. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.